Be strong.
Alrighty, well, very happy Tuesday, June the 7th. Welcome back to another episode of The Throw-In with Justin. I'm Justin. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching us on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Yesterday was the beginning of our new show, our new program that we have going on here at this moment. The Justin and Trey show is currently at a stalemate. If and when that is something that is going to be reactivated, I just don't know when. As far as I am concerned, I will keep you guys posted the best that I can. Excuse me. But I came on the air yesterday to you guys, and I told you guys, listen, the throw-in is going to be a new thing that we're going to start Monday through Friday. Keep it weekdays. Bring down conversations that you get a chance to break down Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW, SmackDown, anything in the wrestling world that is starting to go on. We already know that coming up at the end of July that Ric Flair is going to be returning to the ring, as well as even the announcement that came out yesterday making it official that, at least according to WWE reports and social media reports, that John Cena is going to be returning to Monday Night Raw on June 27th, which is a big deal. So, covering a lot of that, we also cover a lot of Cincinnati local sports such as baseball, football, college basketball, the Cincinnati Cyclones, and we got a bunch of that to talk about today. We'll cover the Cincinnati Reds, who picked up a victory in last night's game, was final in 7 innings. I told you guys that this is going to be a morning show, and this is the first week of the throw-in, and I'm kind of slowly adjusting to the time frames. I'm hoping by the end of this week that we will start actually being able to go live with you guys at 6 a.m. That is the goal intended for this show, is to be able to go live at 6 a.m. and do from 6 to 8 a.m., waking up in the morning with the throw-in on YouTube, on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. So today a little bit later start than yesterday. Yesterday I started at 10. Today I started at noon. We'll take you right up until 2 this afternoon. And like I said, we're just going to break down a lot of stuff coming out of Monday Night Raw last night. And like I said, I'm going to save another segment for the Cincinnati Reds, and I'll recap everything that has gone on over there. But the biggest thing that's coming out, and I don't know what direction that you guys wanted to maybe participate in, but in my opinion, I think the biggest conversation, the biggest thing that gravitated my attention last night, I told you guys yesterday that there was a few things that I was looking forward to, and I read that list from Sportscadia. I was like, the 5 things that needed to happen in wrestling this week. Okay, and I read you, and I remember a couple of them as I was going through my notes. A couple of them was, what was happening with, what was the next member to the Judgment Day? Okay, what is the outcome of Cody Rhodes and his injuries? Okay. So I kind of started paying attention to what was going on here. And as I was watching Raw last night, which by the way, I haven't watched a tremendous amount of Raw, but what happened on Hell in a Cell with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, the Judgment Day, the triple threat match, there was things that got me intrigued in watching. And I'll explain more of that. That's going to be heavily on this show. But the biggest thing that came into my mind that I took away last night on Raw was 2 things. Both of them are very similar to each other. One was the fact that we have a new member to the Judgment Day, and that is Finn Balor. Out of all shocking surprises, Finn Balor is the one to join the Society of the Judgment Day. All right, and it's a twisted plot, and you threw me off guard because if you're as because I was wondering, all right, who is going to be the next member? I heard that a lot of people were rumoring that Tommaso Ciampa would be the next member. I even came on the show yesterday morning, and let me know if you disagree or agree with me, but I thought Tommaso Ciampa was the next guy to be in Judgment Day. And the only reason why I say that is because there is no clear direction where Tommaso Ciampa is headed. He's been making appearances on Raw. He's been, kind of thrown in some random feuds. He's been attacking Mustafa Ali. He's attacked who was he attacked Riddle last night for no apparent reason. There is no clear direction where Tommaso Ciampa was headed. And he moves up from NXT to WWE, and where in NXT he's established himself finally. And I wonder, okay, maybe this is a position that he could be in. I would think of it. Edge, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, then Tommaso Ciampa. What a great fraction. But no, we were all fooled yesterday. At least I was fooled yesterday because we saw Finn Balor join the Judgment Day. And not on top of that is that now the Judgment Day has decided that they were going to take it upon themselves to eliminate any X factors to this group. And that included the leader of the Judgment Day in Edge. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about Edge being eliminated from the fraction that he made. You got to remember, in my eyes, I see Edge creating the Judgment Day, and it reminds me instantly this dark fraction being imitated as, the Brood. And maybe I'm wrong. And he starts forming this team, and I really liked him leading this team because I don't need to see Edge compete in the ring on a daily basis. There's a couple ways that I look at this. Now, for me, it's okay. Well, I like it because there's this young set of talent guys like Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, all guys that almost didn't really have a point spread. You think about this. Finn Balor and Damian Priest were two guys who actually went battle for the United States Championship about, 3 to 4 months ago on Raw. And now they're part of this fraction. But let's back up for a second, because where did you see Finn Balor headed? Okay. He comes back, he's making this on and off appearance on TV, in the WWE. There's really no clear direction on what storyline you want to put him in. By the time you actually get him into a storyline, either the creative team has changed options, or he's gotten injured and been put on the shelf. Okay. Damian Priest. I love Damian Priest, but then he started creating this alter persona that just didn't make quite sense when he brought it out and when he kept it in. And there was just no direction going down that way. You take a look at Rhea Ripley. These are all people who didn't have necessarily a purpose or a place in the WWE. Like I said, mentioned Rhea Ripley. She was teamed up with, she was going after the Raw Women's Championship this time last year. Okay? Then she gets stuck. All right? Teaming up with Nikki ASH, followed by, and then that combination duo was fine for a while, and then she teamed up with Liv Morgan. We really enjoyed that, even though that was a short time spent. So we enjoyed those few things, but there was still no clear direction where Rhea Ripley was headed to. Okay, and so these three members, in my eyes, in my opinion, made sense to put together as part of these fractions. It does. I mean, after you think about Finn Balor, it does make sense. All right, he has that alter ego with the demon or the alter persona, Damian Priest. This is now a faction that I can't believe in. I was just very shocked to see them saying, "Hey, Edge, you're no longer needed." Possibly, man. This is a young group of men and women that want to make a name for themselves, and what are the not way than not to do it than to go up against take out their leader in Edge. So I was very surprised. Another thing that really gravitated my attention is the dynamic and the how quick the WWE was able to switch directions for the Raw Women's Championship. And I understand, and we'll dive more into this here in this afternoon on the throw-in. But we saw an incredible triple threat match. I want you to let me know what you guys think of it. But I thought it was incredible. It was an incredible triple threat match between Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Becky Lynch. And it ended for me in a satisfactory level. But when I was like, listen, this should have ended last night. And it feels like they just are ready to move right past on it. Because Becky Lynch was one who has had this grudge of getting back a championship. And now she has shown that she's just desperate to get any title, that she's going after Dana Brooke for the 24/7 Women's Championship. Now, we know that the feud isn't done between Asuka and Becky Lynch. As a matter of fact, they'll probably last a couple more months. Okay? But then the direction changed at the main event last night. A fatal four-way match that had neither opponent in them. Bianca Belair is waiting for her next opponent to step up. And who steps up is Rhea Ripley. So now the Judgment Day, the newly formed Judgment Day, is kicking their reins off with getting a Raw Women's Championship match. Now, I'm actually excited to see this match. I want to see Bianca Belair. I want to see Rhea Ripley. These are two incredible talent superstars to share the ring. They've done it in NXT. They get to do it again, and in this circumstances. And this is the first official match that has been announced and been confirmed for Money in the Bank that will be taking place July 2nd. So, and like I said, maybe you and I have difference of opinions. That's fine by me. The first thing that I think of is right off the bat is seeing, the Judgment Day, the new fraction, which just threw me off guard, and then seeing them eliminate the founder of Judgment Day so quickly. It's only been 2 months, and they've already got rid of the guy who started this fraction. And then to see Rhea Ripley, on the other hand, come down and become the new number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship. I'm excited. I like it. It's a new angle, and I guess at this time you could almost say that we are on the road to SummerSlam, WWE SummerSlam, which is still the hottest event of the summer. And I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it. Okay, more news coming up here on the Cody Rhodes situation. He will be set later on this week to have surgery. Some reports say Wednesday, some of them say Thursday. I was listening to Busted Open podcast. I love listening to other ideas. And I was listening to Busted Open this morning, and I was like, I was just kind of gravitating to what they said. And, I do want to ask you guys this. What did you think of Cody Rhodes competing at Hell in a Cell? Did this do anything for how you feel about Cody Rhodes? or did this do anything to, or did this hurt you? Should have he competed knowing that he had a torn pectoral? We'll talk a little bit more about that this afternoon. Like I said, John Cena is coming back. 5 directions. All right, I want to talk to you guys about 5 directions that Seth Rollins could be taking. Obviously, he didn't take losing 3 times to Cody Rhodes with the grain of salt. Okay, and people maybe have mixed feelings, but listen, his career path is going forward. All right, Street Profits, is earning themselves a title shot against the Usos. Riddle is calling out Roman Reigns. Is that still the same direction that the WWE is going? I'll explain more into that later on in our program. Has Theory picked on the wrong person last night? Bobby Lashley comes out after defeating Omos and MVP. Theory interrupts him, and I don't know. Do you really see Theory and Lashley going at it? And would this be a perfect aspect? Because, Bobby Lashley was someone who decided or wanted to, go after this championship. Is this because of Randy Orton's setback? We don't know the extent of Randy Orton's setback. Could we be seeing leading up to a Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns a lot sooner? And why is Bobby Lashley going after Theory? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Asuka and Becky Lynch a little bit. We'll talk about the Cincinnati Reds as well. We'll get you ready for NXT 2.0. And I know that's kind of a show that's kind of flared up in the air a little bit. In Your House happened a couple nights ago, back on Saturday. Braun Breaker, what's next for him? So we're just getting on the way here on a Tuesday afternoon. We'll take you guys up until 12. I'm Justin. Thank you guys for listening to the throw-in right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
Build you up, you break me down, tear everything apart. I give you all I can, but then you go and break my heart. This ain't true love, boo. But this ain't true love, this ain't you right here, so I'm gonna leave you. Can be with someone who doesn't care.
The throw-in and TNC Sports Talk is given to you by StreamYard. StreamYard Studios, proud home of the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. StreamYard.com is where you can create your podcast, host virtual business meetings, YouTube videos, even conduct interviews, and much more. Try out the free version at StreamYard.com. All right. The throw-in right here. Welcome back here. Just getting underway on a Tuesday. Like I said, a new show on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Just kind of finding its own legs. So bear with us. I just got ourselves up on audio streaming platforms. I made a mistake yesterday because I thought, okay, well, I did it once when I recently, a couple months ago, I started going into transfer to Spreaker, which I love Spreaker. It's if you guys are uploading, or not uploading, but if you guys if you guys are creating podcasts, audio podcasts like this is, and then you're putting it up on a platform and especially you want to start, maybe making a couple pennies here and there and getting credit for what you're posting out there for audio listeners, then Spreaker is the option to go through. It's a little bit more pricey than a lot of the other ones, but here's what I tell you the benefactor is. You can make multiple podcast shows or talk shows, whatever you want to call them, on Spreaker, upload them differently. So I have the Justin and Trey that I recently had last month, uploaded those episodes. Then I created a new one. Well, when I was creating the Justin and Trey show, I went through all the distributions and all that stuff. Well, what I forgot to do was you have to go through the distributions again on the throw-in. So The only one I know I have currently confirmed, I'm on Spreaker, I'm on Spotify, I'm also on Podcast Addict and Podchaser. Now, Sound, I can't pronounce that name. That's still pending. Deezer is pending. Castbox is pending. Amazon Music, a little bit more difficult, but I'm working on that. iHeartRadio is currently pending, but I'm waiting. That I know that's going to be updated as well. Apple Podcasts, I have to re-sign back into Apple Podcasts and re-upload it by hand. But once I get that going, that'll be up there. So bear with us with the audio. I know I'm on Spreaker. That's the first thing that's added. Spotify, I just can't seem to be able to find it under the engine search that they provided me. So once I do that, I will, yesterday I was like, well, where is my podcast on audio streaming platforms? Because I didn't put it on the proper distribution. So I'm working on that. Give us a day or two, and we should have that all set up for you. What's going on, Armchair Booking? Thank you guys for tuning in. And so I was just kind of updating everyone on that. But listen, we're getting our feet wet. Like I said, by the end of the week, we should be from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning, waking up with you guys here with the throw-in sports talk show right here. And like I said, I won't be here Friday. I got a doctor's appointment first thing in the morning, so we're going to start our weekend early as well. But the first thing I want to jump right into, you guys, I know I opened up with the Judgment Day. We'll maybe pay a revisit with that a little bit later, but we got to talk about John Cena's return, because we knew that this was coming back to a head later on this year, this month. He's celebrating 20 years of his in-ring presence. And while we're talking about celebration, okay, I can't forget to throw out there that Michael Cole is also celebrating 25 years of commentating. So I want to congratulate that, Michael Cole. That was last week. I know I'm a little late to that party, but I wanted to make sure, because I keep on forgetting to talk about that each and every time. But John Cena set the return. He's making, he's coming back after 20, to the WWE this month, possibly a SummerSlam match. A lot of rumors say that that Austin Theory will be taking on John Cena. Now, Theory currently holds that United States Championship. But here's where that twist angle starts coming into place, because last night, Austin Theory decides that he is going to kind of pick at Bobby Lashley. Now, I guess here's my question to you right off the bat is, first of all, this is a good idea that Theory starts picking on a guy like Bobby Lashley. I am excited for this to happen. I'll tell you why. One, what I have seen over the last 2 months or 3 months with Bobby Lashley is that he has taken a new approach to his wrestling career. All right. He has, and I feel like he's, honestly been better at doing this. He's taken a new approach by instead of going after big titles, which we know that's still in the picture, he has taken a step back and he has decided to start working with other talent. And the first big talent that he decided that he wanted to take approach on was Omos and MVP. And you think of those three, combinations. MVP having his own credibility to his name. Bobby Lashley, he's paid his dues. But one thing that was missing from Omos's career, all right, he was teamed up with AJ Styles in a tag team faction. But once that separated, first of all, I'm still aggravated that we never saw a feud between Omos and AJ Styles, and we didn't see them in a match like we should have saw them in a match at some point. And I'm not really wanting to see that anymore. That was something that should have been done a couple months back. It didn't happen. So I'm kind of, all right, wash hands, let's move forward. So please, WWE, whatever you do, do not re-invite me to the Omos and AJ Styles feud. What Omos was missing was somebody that was about his size or could handle him, okay? to give him that run for his money. And that is what Bobby Lashley did. Now we do know that Omos has a lot to learn in the WWE, and I'm not decrediting Omos, but by the way that I've watched him, he has improved significantly over the last 3 months of in-ring performance than he did back at the beginning of the year. Tell me, you guys, am I wrong on that? Okay, what do you guys think of Omos's performance lately? Now, I'm not saying that it's the best work, but it's definitely improved over the last 3 months, maybe 2.5. All right, especially since this feud with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley has done something that I don't know if he's ever really done, and he has taken a time to work with somebody else to help him out in his career. And just the fact that Omos is going toe-to-toe with Bobby Lashley, one, it brings a world of excitement. All right, I'm on the edge of my seat because you just don't know what you saw. And when we watched Omos and Bobby Lashley at, in that 2-on-1 handicap match back at Hell in a Cell, seeing Omos in that speed and that physicality, being able to bulldoze Bobby Lashley through the barricade, I know that's not a surprise. It's not a new thing here in professional wrestling, but that's pretty impressive. Now Bobby Lashley is kind of being forced to set his eyes on something else. Here's the trifecta mix. I'm about to sneeze, so I apologize. Here's the trifecta mix. Hell in a Cell, after Bobby Lashley beat MVP and Omos, Bobby Lashley grabbed a fan's title belt and said, I'm coming back after this. Now, this leads into a whole conversation we'll get into the next segment, but then last night, he comes in down to the ring, and the first thing that you see him set his eyes towards is that Money in the Bank ladder match. Money in the Bank briefcase hanging suspended, 10, 15 feet above the air. Then, during his promo cut, Austin Theory comes out and kind of picks on Bobby Lashley. And thank you for that compliment, armchair booking. And Austin Theory comes out and just kind of picks the bone with Bobby Lashley, kind of trods the water with Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley, well, why don't we put the United States Championship on a match and on the line? And Theory declines like he normally would decline. But where does this all set up for? Because right now, can you see Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory go one-on-one? Because what does this do for for Austin Theory? All right, let me not forget to remind you guys what Austin Theory has done this season so far. I look into this way. Austin Theory has been working with Vince McMahon. Apparently, he is his protege. Austin Theory had his 5 minutes of fame with Brock Lesnar, who took care of him outside the Elimination Chamber. He's had a WrestleMania moment with Pat McAfee, Vince McMahon, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So the fact that Vince McMahon trusts him enough to work with a guy like Pat McAfee, which, listen, don't devalue Pat McAfee, but he hasn't been in the ring all that often, all right? And then afterwards, he gets the United States Championship put on him. He beats Cody Rhodes. He goes on and has a successful pay-per-view title defense back at Hell in a Cell with Mustafa Ali. And now he's trying to go after one-on-one with Bobby Lashley. Now, in my eyes, this is the streak that Austin Theory needs. This is the road that Austin Theory needs to be on. This is the path. Okay, I have called it since after WrestleMania. After looking at this in depth, Austin Theory is going to be the superstar of the year after what he's going through. And you think about the rumors that John Cena is returning to the WWE in the end of June, possibly set up for a WrestleMania match, which I think everyone will be satisfied for. And to see Austin Theory and John Cena to go toe-to-toe, regardless if it's a win or not, just the fact that Theory is getting that push. He's getting a mega push, and I like it. It's working for me. Is it working for you guys? Okay. Well, let me read this from Armchair Booking here. He says WWE lately has been giving people championships, then lining up people to put them over. They are going about it backwards. Yes and no. Okay, so let me ask you this, Armchair Booking, if you're thinking about this way. Let's talk about Austin Theory for a second. Okay. Vince McMahon comes back to television for Austin Theory. All right, in belief that Austin Theory has something special. He gets put into a match he gets put inside the chamber he's getting put inside the chamber, and he spends 5 minutes, at least about 5-6 minutes, with Brock Lesnar, who, by the way, handles him with care. All right, let's back up. So Vince McMahon, one-on-one work. How many other talented superstars today that you see working with Vince McMahon? How many gets the nod from Brock Lesnar to go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar? Okay, then he's also gotten listen, when you get the opportunity to face someone that is not in a everyday, in the ring moment, like for example, how much do we not give Sami Zayn enough credit for having his match with Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania? Because Johnny Knoxville does not compete inside the ring on a day-to-day basis. You go ask these guys from NWF when they get thrown out, a random person that has never stepped foot in the ring, or bare minimum doesn't get the exposure, and then they come in and they think you can have a match with them. You know as well as I know that it's the full-time athlete's job to make sure that match gets over. And so, let's do that. There we go. And so when you think about this, okay, Austin Theory has a one-on-one match with Pat McAfee. And I'm not saying that Pat McAfee isn't good in the ring, but Pat McAfee could only take you so far. It's up to Austin Theory to sell for Pat McAfee, to get Pat McAfee over to the point, the things that Theory had to do prior to that to get Pat McAfee over. And then he gets a match. For me, after those 3 months going through those three big obstacles, he's getting an opportunity at a United States Championship match, all because he's the one who stole the egg that Vince McMahon had. Funny. You do the negative things in the business, and you get the more success out of it. Look at what he's done since then. Okay, he's beaten Finn Balor. He's gotten the title on him. He's went one-on-one, toe-to-toe with Cody Rhodes. You can't deny that. I know Cody Rhodes is a full-time athlete, and we'll talk about him in our next segment. But I know Cody Rhodes is a full-time athlete, but to be able to step into someone who left the company nearly a decade ago, feels like, and he's made a name for himself, and then comes back to bigger and better, and probably, what people are calling, he's the face of Raw. And even when he's going to be gone for the next, 6-8 months now, he's still going to be the face of Raw. And then he's going after Bobby Lashley. For me, I think, in my opinion, that Austin Theory, he's getting put into, he's been getting thrown guys at him, but he's been able to capture those moments. Theory is a guy who's taken these opportunities that are being given to him, and whether it's a win, whether it's a loss, he's making those moments into something. And that's gotten him championships, and that's gotten him abilities to be where he's at. And in my eyes, right now, I know we're only 6 months into this year, but Austin Theory is right now the breakout talent of the year. Because, and where else do you really think Theory fits in facing a guy like Bobby Lashley or Cody Rhodes or even an upcoming John Cena that rumors have it at SummerSlam? But I think that the first options here, I think we do want to discuss and figure out just where Bobby Lashley is headed, because Hell in a Cell, he's wanting the title. In order to get to the title, you could either challenge Roman Reigns, or you could win the Money in the Bank, and then Theory butts his nose in. So, I guess in the time period between Theory and between the Money in the Bank and Roman Reigns, you're gonna have to go back around to maybe taking on Theory. I know, a lot going on right there. All right, we want to talk about Cody Rhodes coming back, because Cody Rhodes going to be out for a good amount of time, set to have scheduled later on this week. I believe I said this just a moment ago. Cody Rhodes is the face of Monday Night Raw, and he has gotten over tremendously. His match at Hell in a Cell was a bigger moment than when Cody Rhodes went through the flaming table back in AEW. I heard that conversation. I was convinced by it. I'm buying into it, and I believe it. And I'll explain why next. Justin here on the throw-in on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. All right. TNC Sports Talk is brought to you by SeatGeek. Before you guys get your next sporting events tickets, concerts, and more, make sure you guys check out SeatGeek.com. And when you spend $50 or more on your first purchase, you guys can save 20% by using promo code TNC Sports Talk. That's a 20% off on your next purchase of $50 or more at SeatGeek.com with promo code TNC Sports Talk. Give a shout out to SeatGeek. Thank you for sponsoring our show. And man, just getting underway here on a fine Tuesday morning or afternoon. You see more stuff added up to the backdrop there. And I have Epidemic Sound here that kind of just has a different setting on their audio list. So normally those bars for when I play the music, you would have the music and where the track that's on, and then underneath is the sound bar. Well, normally that's you could adjust the volume. Well, they have it this way. You have to click on the button and come up and down. So it's a little different there. Like I said, we'll take you guys up until 2 o'clock this afternoon. I won't be here Friday due to a doctor's appointment, but we will be back tomorrow and Thursday. Don't forget, we are working on getting out here at 6 a.m. Hopefully by the end of this week, we could do from 6 to 8 a.m. Every weekday morning here. All right, so a couple big stories still coming your way here as well. Excuse me. Just trying to clean up some of my tabs. I'm going to have a couple of them floating around. There we go. All right, so this is going to kind of lead into one of the things I wanted to share with you at this hour here. All right, so Sportskeeda came out this morning with 6 things WWE stubbornly told us on Raw. Possible plans for Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins in 2023. 15-time champion quietly turns face after 5 years. Let's start diving into that and what do we know and not know here. I want to talk about Cody Rhodes' injury for a quick moment. Cody Rhodes coming out at number 6, and Seth Rollins leaving all loose ends untied on Raw. Now, let's face it, okay, Cody Rhodes is injured. The one thing that so he suffered a torn pectoral back earlier last week, about this time last week. Apparently, he was in a match on Monday Night Raw last week. Well, Cody Rhodes was scratched from a house show on Saturday because of his injuries, getting him ready for the Hell in a Cell match. Yes, when you are the face of a brand or of a company, you will be protected as much as possible. Now, here's where things start getting interesting. So Sunday morning, from my understanding, after hearing multiple stories, Sunday morning is when Cody Rhodes, during a workout, tore his pectoral clear off the bone. Now, after hearing reports, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, I don't know any of these injuries, but I've listened to other people, gotten the opportunity to talk to other people. From my understanding, is when you get a chance, when you injure something to the point where you can't injure it no more, when you tear your pectoral right off the bone, you can't injure it no more. As long as you're able to tolerate the pain, then you should be fine to go. And that's what happened at Hell in a Cell. Cody Rhodes endured pain. They probably made sure he was comfortable enough, but you couldn't do any more possible damage to the pectoral muscle. And he competed. And what gets him over to the point, all right, I heard this this morning on the Busted Open podcast from Bully Ray, and it was convincing to me. I don't know how credible you think Bully Ray is, but I'm like, and I don't want to cheat my sources here, but I found it very interesting to see that he believes that how Cody Rhodes went over at Hell in a Cell compared to when him and Andrade had the flaming table incident back on AEW. Those were significant. This moment here was much greater than that moment. And I believe that this injury, and it also depends how the WWE plays this, because Cody Rhodes is set to have surgery later on this week. He's going to be out for at least, listen, John Cena had a very similar injury. He was out for 4 months. He made a quick return for the Rumble that next year. And I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes should rush it and he's not John Cena. But what I'm trying to say is that here's the perfect plan if you are WWE. And I know Cody Rhodes is thinking about this. I know a lot of other people are thinking about this. But what about, all right, injury is going to take about 6 to 8 months to heal. 6 months at earliest. Probably won't be able to start really rehabbing. It's about 3 to 4 months into it. If you don't rush things, you do the things the right way the first time. I want to see Cody Rhodes return at the Royal Rumble, which is going to be in San Antonio, Texas next year. What about those thoughts? And because here's the thing, Cody Rhodes sat there and was the only person, the only person on the banner for Hell in a Cell. There was no Seth Rollins, there was no Bobby Lashley, there was no Rhea Ripley, there was no Becky Lynch. Cody Rhodes stood alone at the promotion of Hell in a Cell. All right, he was going to be there regardless. Now, fighting through an injury that was visibly shown to the fans makes the fans get behind you, makes the fans want to cheer for you, makes the fans feel sympathy and empathy for you. When you're able to fight with an injury so big that it shows physically, and go through a match, a Hell in a Cell match that's going to be talking about for years. In my opinion, I will put this match right now in my top 5 greatest Hell in a Cell match. Maybe I'm over speaking boundaries, but we knew that Cody Rhodes was the face of Monday Night Raw. Obviously, Roman Reigns isn't there, so he can't be the face. Edge just got kicked out of Judgment Day. He can't be the face. Becky Lynch is desperately fighting for a title. She can't be a face. Cody Rhodes was the face of Monday Night Raw. So he's going to be out for 6 to 8 months. I would like to see him return in time for the Rumble match. Okay, enter in for the Rumble and get another WrestleMania match. If he's not ready by then, waiting 10 months for WrestleMania will be adequate. I think if you rush him anytime sooner, I don't think it would work for his story that he's trying to tell. But here's what WWE needs to do at the same time. They need to make sure that the fans does not forget about Cody Rhodes and what he has gone through over the last 2 months and the 3 matches that he's been through with Seth Rollins. You can't let the fans forget. So if that means that Seth Rollins over the next 6 months has to say something once in a while and bring up the Rhodes family just to keep the fans invested and to remember about him, whether it's the WWE, and I don't think they'll do this anymore, but take the travel with Cody Rhodes and every little step that Cody Rhodes makes during his recovery process, because last night that statement that he made was the beginning of his recovery process and that story that has been told. And if you want to sell this right and you want the go home victory for this, you follow Cody Rhodes and you tell that story, the ups, the downs, the struggles, show images and videos of the surgery and his rehabilitation process. Okay, if the WWE, okay, Cody Rhodes is, I think, he's one of the most overt person right now in the WWE. He is bigger and better than, he's the biggest. Okay, this was one thing the WWE was missing. Roman Reigns right now, I guess you could consider the biggest heel, the biggest loser with the bloodline. Although he's so hated, he's loved also. Cody Rhodes is the biggest purely unified face in the WWE, and it does suck. I think it's terrible to see that he has to be, just coming back to the WWE, ending this feud with Seth Rollins, sucks. I don't like it, and it seems like every time a big megastar comes in, remember when Edge returned back to Raw, he got hurt right away after facing Randy Orton in that greatest wrestling match of all time at WrestleMania Backlash 2 years ago. That put him on the shelf for a while. But Cody Rhodes is going to heal. I say you let him come back at the Royal Rumble. I'm already right now projecting the Royal Rumble. You know what? In 3 months time frame, which is an estimate time frame slot, is when Cody Rhodes could sort of make a television role. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see the WWE do something like that, but if you're asking me, just don't let me forget about Cody Rhodes. Keep him off camera, because let that suspension build. Let that story every month, once a month, somehow find a way to bring his name into the conversation. Give us an update. Have Seth Rollins come out and say something, or remind people that he's the one who put Cody Rhodes up on the show, because we know the feud isn't done. Okay? And then here's that picture perfect moment, if you're asking me. Seth Rollins is inside that Royal Rumble match. All right, he's going to win the match, and number 8's coming out, and that's Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes comes out. Seth Rollins is surprised and eliminates Seth Rollins. Whether that sets up for a WrestleMania match once more, I don't mind it, because there's now this generated time period between when Cody got injured and the rematch. And now, after Seth Rollins attacked, Seth Rollins comes out and opens up his hand of respect and then attacks him, saying, hey, I'm getting the last word. you know that Cody Rhodes needs to come back and fire back at Seth Rollins at some point. So why not have it next year WrestleMania? I know it's probably okay. Is that a wasted year? I don't think so. Okay, have Seth Rollins, just go through all his business, say how he's going to main event WrestleMania this year, like he was supposed to last year, and he didn't, and then have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I mean, you got to even consider this. There's 2 nights of WrestleMania, so why wouldn't you have? And I'm pretty sure the path that we're going down is Roman and The Rock at next year's WrestleMania. So why won't you have Cody in the night 2 main event one? Why won't you have Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes night 1 main event? Disagree with me? All right, 6 things that WWE told us last night. Cody and Seth Rollins, their feud isn't done. They left loose ends on Raw after Seth Rollins brutally attacked Cody Rhodes. It's a plot thing, the fact that Cody Rhodes was able to walk away from that. The return of the Dirty Dogs and a possible character change, okay? MVP and Omos briefly returned to Raw on one night after Hell in a Cell in 2022, where the latter crushed his opponent before Byron Saxton could even complete a sentence. They quickly interrupted by the Dirty Dogs, who went missing from television after Dolph Ziggler feuded with Braun Breaker in NXT. The Dirty Dogs were interviewed, and MVP was furious at what happened. Ziggler super kicked MVP with a subtle face, turned that happened for the 15-time champion and even Robert Roode. Okay, so we saw the Dirty Dogs last night make a return. I like seeing refreshed people. Listen, the Street Profits are the next hurdle for the Usos as they beat the Usos last night, trying to claim their spot, getting a chance at the Unified Tag Team Championships. Theory takes a bold step in his pursuit of greatness, going after Bobby Lashley. He gets kicked out of the ring. I thought that was a little hilarious here. Roman versus Riddle still seems to be a plan. I know that there was a lot of plans we'll get into hour number 2 about, with the plan that Roman Reigns was his opponent's next 3 opponents leading into the Clash of the Castle. Riddle still seems to be one of those guys that could be his next upcoming opponent at Money in the Bank. Also, the Judgment Day makes a big shakeup after introducing Finn Balor as a new member and annihilating Edge. So those are your top 6 things to get away from the WWE on Monday Night Raw last night. We're going to take a break here on the throw-in, and when we come back, we're going to kind of change the topics a little bit. I want to the Reds picked up a victory. They are set to square away again later on tonight at 6:40 against the Arizona Diamondbacks in game number 2. Hour number 2 coming up here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.
I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, 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 no. See, we was cool right before he hit your fist, but he hit the fan when I got him down at the bench. When I took a break, I had to leave and go get cleansed. God forgive me for all my sins. I can't say these, cause my last name ain't Kent. Cooking on the stove, that's the way he paid the rent. Working on the pole, that's the way she pays the wish.
All right, TNC Sports Talk is proud to be giving you the throw-in with Justin. 5 days a week, weekdays, working on getting ourselves from 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning. Hour number 2 of the throw-in begins. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys can listen to us on all audio streaming platforms. Give us a few days as I'm working on building all that stuff up still yet. But before we get started with other sports, we'll come back and make a back wrap around with the Monday Night Raw, also NXT 2.0. But I want to give congratulations out to local Cincinnati high school players. Mason High School left-handed pitcher Brendan Garula and Cincinnati Hills Christian Academy outfielder Jack Vogel. Jack Vogel, and I apologize if I butcher that name. Know me. Were named State Baseball Players of the Year on Monday. Garula, the Division One Player of the Year, and is it Vogel, the Division Three Player of the Year, are University of Cincinnati baseball signees. Both of them tied for the University of Cincinnati, the University of Cincinnati. The Ohio High School Baseball Coaches Association made an announcement about the all-state teams on its website. CHCA coach Tony Schultz was named the Division III State Coach of the Year. Garula has helped to lead the Comets to the Division I state tournament this week in Akron. The Comets 24-7-4 play Grove City 25-7 in a Division I state semifinal at 1 p.m. on Friday at Kennel Park in Akron. The state final is scheduled for 4 p.m. Saturday at Kennel Park. Garula has a 9-0 record in 61 and a third inning pitched this season. According to the Greater Miami Conference website, he has 99 strikeouts and a 1.027 earned run average. He threw a perfect game against the Western Brown in May during the sectional tournament. The lefty is hitting .365 with 9 doubles, 3 home runs, and 16 runs batted in, and 11 stolen bases, according to the GMC statistics. Okay, Garula made a comment on Monday afternoon. He says, "I don't think it's really clicked in yet. All right, just how hard work has been paying off. I'm blessed to have my team around me and give me this opportunity and get me seen by the whole state." Vogel helped CHCA 25-2 reach Division III regional semifinals this spring. He hit 593 with 11 doubles, 10 triples, 5 home runs, and 28 runs batted in prior to the regional tournament. He hit a home run in the regional semifinals. So I want to once again congratulate both Brendan Garula and Jack Vogel for being named Ohio's Baseball Players of the Year. Congratulations to them. Local wise here, I brought that up. I love seeing young kids, man, just having the success. I feel like sports is only going to get better and better. And when you have players just representing the state overall, doing tremendous things. I mean, I know it's only high school baseball, but 593 as a batting average, you're doing something right. And you listen, University of Cincinnati should be very pleased. I'm hoping, can't wait to be following their stories as they move along in their college days here. All right, going around here in the world of sports as well. Arizona Diamondbacks came into town beginning a 3-game series last night against the Cincinnati Reds. All right, the Reds in Arizona only went 7 innings because of rain delay effects. But listen, Hunter Green just looked dominant. He pitched 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, with 8 strikeouts, striking out 17 batters setting down 17 batters in a row. The Reds picked up a victory last night, shutting out the Reds in a 7-inning game. Final score 7-0. The Reds put up 12 hits. Brandon Drury, a long shot back to right field in the first inning, kind of just set the tone for the Reds. He went 2 for 4, 2 runs, a home run, and an RBI. Joey Votto, also a key guy that came after this past weekend against the Nationals. He went 1 for 2 with 2 runs and 2 walks. Tyler Stevenson cleared the bases in the 4th inning, went 2 for 3, 2 runs, and a walk. Madison Bumgarner was the pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, man. He only went 5 innings, giving up 8 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Not a good outing by a guy that, listen, Madison Bumgarner, one of the most dominant pitchers, especially maybe of his time and era, back in the early 2010s and moving forward, led the Giants to a lot of World Series victories. But I mean, just not a good outing. They will go ahead and take on game number 2 tonight if the weather clears up. I understand it's supposed to be storming a little later on today after our program. But if the game does get underway, Tyler Gilbert, 0-2, 5.02 ERA for Arizona, set way to get off and face Graham Ashcraft, 2-0, 1.53 ERA as well. Listen, one of the things that I've always found interesting, after looking at the national series, you saw struggles out of Mike Minor. I know that's typical because he's a pitcher that just got out underway. He's he kind of just getting his feet wet right now into the regular season. But then also guys like Tyler Malley, you kind of expect a little bit more from him, and even Luis Castillo. I mean, Luis Castillo came into the season. I know he was on the DL to begin with, but I mean, he's a guy who really, I think, around the starting rotation, people look up to. People look up to Luis Castillo and Mike Minor as two of your veteran guys, especially when you're Vladimir Gutierrez, who was put on the 15-day DL back on Sunday. Nick Lodolu, who's also on the IL. Tyler Malley still looking up to those type of players. You need the consistency out of a guy like Mike Minor and Luis Castillo to help these younger guys kind of build confidence and get their outings. The fact that, Hunter Green and Ashcraft, both kind of just making the way and kind of picking up the pieces. I mean, what a significant thing that came out of last night's game was, and it has nothing to do with the Reds, it was the fact that the rain took part in the 7th inning while Hunter Green not only had a good outing. So Hunter Green goes 7 innings, giving up no runs, only 1 hit. Great outing from him. What really helped the Reds, though, was the fact they didn't have to go to the bullpen last night because the game was called after 7 innings. Now, I mean, here's another question that you would ask was, would the Reds put Green out in the 8th or 9th as he continued to perform well? I don't quite know. See, the first hit, the only hit from the Diamondbacks last night came in the early innings. So I don't know if this, Hunter Green would have been out there, the complete game. Now, I think if you're a pitcher that could go 7 innings, then no matter what happens, you will be, it would be sad, it would be good enough, for a pitcher or two to get out there and get some work in. But I really think that this bullpen needed a night off, and this is what the Reds ordered. Now, listen, this is a great win. They fell short 1-3 in a 4-game series against the Washington Nationals over the weekend. But I mean, hopefully this win here, the shutout win, can kind of spark a little emphasis because because I think at the end of the series you're supposed to see Mike Minor back again, kicking off the series, and then you're also supposed to see Tyler Malley. From my understanding, Luis Castillo is going to kick off the series on the weekend, over the weekend here. So good starts, good outings. I love to see the bats fly, and I love to be able to see guys be capitalized. When one of my biggest things, and maybe this is because I'm a San Diego native and the Padres always did this on our end, but being able to see guys complete ball games and score runs in scoring positions, when one of the biggest trouble the Padres had for the longest time, and I think a lot of teams share this same struggle, is being able to have runners in scoring position. And when I say that, I mean on second and on third base with one or no outs and not being able to score them in. You can't have a guy on third base with no outs and not be able to score him in. So being able to capitalize on those moments, those opportunities, definitely exciting, definitely promising stuff to watch. Okay. Other stuff going on. I talked about the coming out in baseball still. All right. The Tampa Bay Rays. All right. Some players are just not all on the same page. I know this is kind of a little older. I don't know what you guys think. I'll tell you my opinion here in a second. You guys might have mixed thoughts about it. Tampa Bay Rays wore rainbow insignias on their caps and jerseys on Saturday. 5 players chose not to participate. Reported from Julia Aguilar. All right. So Tampa Bay Rays had a ball game on Saturday, and to support, I had it right here. Okay, some things were missing in the top of the ninth inning on Saturdays at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tampa Bay Rays used two relief pitchers in that inning, the left-handers Brooks Riley and Jalen Beeks, who wore jerseys without a patch on their right sleeve. This is an article by Tyler Kapner that was posted back yesterday. Okay, this was not a malfunctional error or an equipment manager's mistake. The patch was the Rays' starburst emblem, rendered in rainbow colors like the TB logo on their team's cap. As part of the team's Pride Night promotion, Riley and Beeks and a few others teammates chose to wear their caps and jerseys without the rainbow accents. Credit the Rays for trying. They are one of three teams, along with the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers, to incorporate Pride Night symbolism onto their uniforms. But while the Giants and the Dodgers had full participation, the Rays didn't. The Tampa Bay Times listed 5 players. The other 3 pitchers, Jason Adam, Jeffrey Springs, and Ryan Thompson, did not play in the Rays' 3-2 loss Saturday to the Chicago White Sox, among those who did not wear the rainbow insignias. The team selected Adam, the 30-year-old right-hander, to explain the player's decision. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I personally believe that it should be your choice, especially when it comes down to those decisions. Like I said, a lot of people may think that I'm wrong in this. He goes on to say a lot of it comes down to faith, to like a faith-based decision. He said also it's a hard decision because ultimately we all said what we want is them to know that we are all are welcomed and loved here. But when we put on our what we put on our bodies, I think a lot of guys decide that it's just a lifestyle that maybe, not that they look down on anybody or think differently, it's just maybe we don't want to encourage it if we believe in Jesus, who's encouraged us to live a lifestyle that we would abstain from that behavior. A lot of people, a lot of particulars would probably envy these 5 ball players from Tampa Bay. But you know what? At this point, I'm at the point, there's a difference. All right. It's one thing to wear patches on your uniforms because one of the organization requires it, and 2, it's paying their paychecks. The Pride Nation does not pay these ball players paychecks. This is This is what individual franchises decide to do, which I'm completely in support of. I enjoy being able to see that type of stuff become publicly. But among these individual players, I don't think that any harassment. And the thing is, the Tampa Bay Rays are not like, oh well, we're not gonna play you, we're not gonna pay you, we're not gonna hire you anymore, we're gonna fire you. No, that's not the case. MLB is not going to sit there, or you're suspended because you didn't participate. No, but I know that there's people out there that's going to give these people some hatred because they wouldn't want to participate. And it's not saying that they don't support it, they don't encourage it, they just don't want to participate. I believe that is in their own right, and the good is also the bad. Also, wrapping up in the world of sports. Breaking news coming out here that came out 16 hours ago in an article on CBS. Aaron Donald signs new contract with the Rams. All-Pro defensive tackle becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. The 3-time NFL Defense Player of the Year becomes the first non-QB to make $30 million per year. Might remember Aaron Donald last year dominating, especially in the Super Bowl, getting to Joe Burrow several times in a Super Bowl victory. A lot of people maybe expected Aaron Donald to probably walk off into the sunset after the Rams finally win that Super Bowl, but that's not the case. He's coming back for another year and under a new contract. Specifically, Donald is set to receive a $40 million raise by the Rams, and will see $95 million in totality on his contract that runs through the 2024 season. Over the next 2 seasons, Donald will be guaranteed $65 million as the contract is structured. Donald will then have the ability to either retire or return in the 2024 season for the additional $30 million guaranteed. The deal has also included a no trade clause per ESPN. Okay. Based off of Donald, he says, I'm locked back in and go get us another ring. Why not? They want to make that repeat. I believe they said it again from time to time again. Okay. So he's ready to go and he's getting paid for it. Well, why not? Why wouldn't Aaron Donald get paid for the success that he's had? Because if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't probably be at the Super Bowl, let's be honest. I mean, he's probably one of the greatest defensive tackles I have ever seen in my lifetime. Name someone else in my lifetime that I can compare myself to. You guys can find all of those articles here on the TNC Sports Talk Facebook page as well. Last thing I want to go ahead and bring up here is that there are now 24 lawsuits and officially filed against Deshaun Watson. It looks like in Cleveland, listen, let's be honest here to wrap up things. Cleveland is maybe a little bit out of control, a little overset for their bridges. Paperwork has been officially submitted. Attorney Tony Busby issued the following statement. Today we filed the 24th case alleging sexual misconduct against Deshaun Watson. The allegations that were made in the new case were strikingly similar to those made by many of the other victims. Lost in the media frenzy surrounding Deshaun Watson is that these are 24 strong, encouraging women who, despite ridicule, I need a new glasses, I'm telling you. All right, let me rephrase it here. Deshaun Watson just does not. The Cleveland Browns probably made one of the biggest mistakes in offseason history by signing Deshaun Watson to a contract without knowing the level extent that that Deshaun Watson has. All right, this is still pending the aftermath that the NFL can pursue and punish just Deshaun Watson for. You wonder why, and then on top of that, because here's the thing: the Cleveland Browns opened up a can of worms this offseason when it came down the day that they decided to sign Deshaun Watson. There was a lot of instant talk about where the future lies for Baker Mayfield. Well, I mean, obviously Browns need a quarterback, and it looks like Deshaun Watson not going to be there day one. So, all right, find all these stories on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube Facebook page right here. When we come back, I got 5 directions Seth Rollins could go after Hell in a Cell coming to your way. Thank you guys for watching the Throw-In with Justin here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
So addicted, yeah.
TNC Sports Talk would like to give a shout out to Epic Dynamic Sound. Discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands. Find the perfect soundtrack and give your social media accounts and music they deserve. Epic Dynamic Sound is a royalty-free music link. You can check out epicdemicsound.com for more information. All music on our show is given to you by Epic Dynamic Sound, just like this one. Addicted to Your Love by House of Sales. Entire soundtrack given to you thanks to Epic Dynamic Sound. Thank you, Epic Dynamic Sound, providing a royalty-free music link at a reasonable, affordable price. The throw-in here continues, taking guys up into high noon here as we are approaching midst of a Tuesday. A storm is still awaiting us. The Cincinnati Reds set to do battle here in a couple hours if the rain doesn't end it. And I'm gonna listen, that rain came down pretty heavily last night. Well, that's why they called the game after 7 innings. But even mud, rivers of water. The grounds crew could not get that water. They could not get that tarp off the ground soon enough. Talking about things, I want to give a shout out down below in our comments on our YouTube page to Riley Matthews, Armchair Booking. You guys could check out Armchair Booking podcast on YouTube, all right, and on all audio streaming platforms. Check out Steve Barber and Dwaylen Davis as they break down news of professional wrestling. I know we talked about some highlights, some news, some highlights, listen, we kind of feed off of each other a little bit. We still, ever since we've met them, from day one, I want to say it was back in December last year, I believe, towards the end of the year, we met them and they became, just an instant communication thought, throwing ideas off of each other. I listen to them, they listen to us. Steve loves listening to our show, tunes us in while he's at work, and just thank you for being a valid, loyal listener to us. Like I said, we love to just go back and forth, give each other shout outs. Also, Riley Matthews, who received the Women's Rookie of the Year back at Revolution Rising. She had a match with Savannah Sweet back at Bone Crushers this past Friday that I went out to. Took a couple of people out, and it was just a blast. Kind of embedded their fans, created their fan base with NWF, and now we're going out to other events. For example, coming up here, and just a couple ones that I'm aware of. June 18th is going to be in Ludlow, Kentucky. Followed by July 9th will be in Covington, Kentucky. So if you guys are in the local area, you guys want to support local professional wrestling, check out NWF, Roger Ruffin and Chris Harris. What a fantastic job. Just very encouraging, very supportive. They take you in, they treat you like family, they never give up on you. NWF is the place to go. If you guys are in the local area, I recommend you guys checking them out. Talking about a little bit of AEW, Thunder Rosa's auction off her Double or Nothing gear. Thought this was a pretty good, very special moment. But she to support the Uvalde victims that took place a while back. So if you guys find Double or Nothing gear for Thunder Rosa, or want to send her away, go check out her page. All right. Couple of things I came across, a story down here, 5 directions coming from Sportscadia. 5 directions of Seth Rollins after Hell in a Cell. Now, what we saw last night, before I get to this list, what we saw last night, or what we have seen so far from Seth Rollins, is Seth Rollins he desperately needed a WrestleMania match. Vince McMahon gave him one. Cody Rhodes beated him. He asked for a rematch. Started getting personal, started picking on Cody Rhodes. And he got his rematch at WrestleMania Backlash and lost. Now listen, I understand when you give when you have to face an unknown opponent and you're not given that fair share opportunity, especially at the grandest stage of them all, why wouldn't you want to get a rematch with a guy, especially a guy like Seth Rollins or with Cody Rhodes, who you think is 10 times better? Afterwards, it didn't end there. Now, we kind of figured it wasn't going to end there because everything has to go up and up beyond. And at this point, his next step was Hell in a Cell. And even with a torn pectoral, Cody Rhodes was able to come across and not only just put on a match, he put on an epic match, a match that we're going to be talking about for years to come. Probably a match that would be considered a match of the year, and a match that is also considered to be, what do you want to call it? Maybe the top, probably in the top 5 matches of Hell in a Cell careers, maybe. Beg to differ. That'll be a conversation at later point. Maybe I'm just too big for saying that. Or just too much to saying that. And last night on Raw, I appreciate what Cody Rhodes did do. Okay? He came out down to the ring, didn't instantly plead anything or instigate. He just simply shook his hand in respect. Now, this is what I tell you. It doesn't mean that Seth Rollins doesn't respect Cody Rhodes. But afterwards, when Cody Rhodes was about to leave, Seth Rollins takes a sledgehammer to the back of Cody Rhodes' neck and then stabs him with the sledgehammer in the torn pectoral muscle. Well, we've already been told by numerous resources that you can't damage that pectoral muscle anymore. And now there's this unwritten chapter that has been created last night that Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes feud can still proceed. Now here's the thing. When you're in the WWE, okay, you've been a guy. Look at Seth Rollins' career with the WWE. Come up with the Shield. The authorities thought big of him. The WWE thought big of him. Put the title on him. Let him carry out the responsibilities of making him the face of the company at some point. He has grinded. He has pulled, through injuries, and not once he sat there and complained. He's gone through every storyline possibly in the books, and he goes on and has Cody Rhodes, a guy who had to leave the company to find himself. I'm not putting Cody Rhodes down, but let's be realistic here for a moment, okay? When you get forced to face a guy like Cody Rhodes, who a decade ago left the company, all right, and was nothing more than a mid-card shot, left the company, went on and had to find himself and build himself outside the company, and then to come back and think that he should be praised. Not saying he shouldn't, but if you're a guy like Seth Rollins, who's been with the company for nearly a decade, who has grinded and worked and went through the struggles that the WWE has gone through and build yourself from within the WWE, and then you have this guy that came from the outside back in, all right, you got to remember WWE, AEW are, I'm going to put quotation marks, rivals, right? Competitors among each other. Having him say, hey, I worked for AEW, I helped founded AEW, I helped build AEW. Now I'm going to go back to WWE because that's where I want to be. And you think everything's fine and dandy? You think Cody Rhodes realistically should be welcomed with open arms? Shouldn't guys like Randy Orton and The Miz and Rey Mysterio and guys like, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns should have a little bit of heat against Cody Rhodes for returning and thinking that what place is he in? I'm not denying that Cody Rhodes is in a position or in a place that he deserves to be in. He is the face of Monday Night Raw. He is a big entity. Okay, and this is a huge break that the WWE is given. But Seth Rollins doesn't go through everything he's gone through in the last 10 years with the WWE to get overshadowed or overlooked by a guy who couldn't figure himself out with the WWE, so had to go leave and start a new company and then come back to the WWE. I'm waiting for thoughts. Anyone disagree? Going once, going twice? Good. So Seth Rollins has to find a way to move forward. All right. Obviously, Cody Rhodes, and I think this is a good thing too. Cody Rhodes is in a different position for. Okay, I feel like this chapter, this 3-month chapter, 2-month chapter, 3 matches, 0 for 3. This should now be something that is. This is one novel. Another novel is going to be written at a later date. Especially now with Cody Rhodes being injured, he's going to probably be gone for the rest of the year. Okay, what is next for Seth freaking Rollins in this sense? Well, let's put note to fact here. All right, let's give you 5 options that you could choose from here. Coming in at number 5, according to Sportscadia, Seth Rollins could be feuding with AJ Styles. Well, we just saw Finn Balor. Okay, Finn Balor became, after facing the Judgment Day and losing, I guess the best option for Finn Balor, if he can't beat them, join them, right? Well, Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day, kicked out Edge, which like I said, shocking twist. I thought everyone was calling for Tommaso Ciampa. I even believe WWE at some point in this past week or two called for Tommaso Ciampa, feuding with AJ Styles. Now, here's a question for you. Now, although, after what we saw last night, could we see not only feuding with AJ Styles, but what about teaming up with AJ Styles? Because I know AJ Styles is not done with the Judgment Day. I know Liv Morgan is not done with the Judgment Day. Could we see Seth Rollins join AJ Styles? And you're talking about this next thing, too. Coming in at number 4, joining the Judgment Day. Okay, here's a bigger question. Moving forward, at least at right now, because right now I feel like it's a prime opportunity if you get the ability. I understand the feud between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes that is going to be currently on a pause. But is this also an opportunity now for Seth Rollins to turn face for a couple of months? While Edge, we don't know what the status for Edge is, how he will approach the Judgment Day after what we saw happen. Could we see Seth Rollins join Judgment Day? Maybe this was an elaborate scheme from the background because he was desperately needing something. A lot of questions need to be answered on this. Does Seth Rollins join the Judgment Day in conspiracy over Edge? Here is number 3, something I would least expect or least want to see is Seth Rollins interrupting Bobby Lashley on his quest to become world champion. Obviously, Bobby Lashley back at Hell in a Cell made images, made gestures as taking a fan's championship and holding it up in the air and saying, "I'm going to be champion again." And then coming on Monday Night Raw last night, looking up at that Money in the Bank briefcase, looking towards possibly mentoring himself in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now he has to face him against. Now he has to go up against Riddle. Coming in at number 2, become Riddle's tag team partner and begin a slow face turn. Like I mentioned, it's a possibility that if Randy Orton, because I know that the direction right now with Roman Reigns was Riddle, Randy Orton at SummerSlam, and then Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. But if Randy Orton's out, we don't know how long he's going to be out. Riddle still looks like he's going to be putting himself in that position for Money in the Bank. Possibility. Could Seth Rollins replace Randy Orton and have a SummerSlam match with Seth Rollins? Or with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam? Wouldn't that be a direction to go down? That would entitle Seth Rollins to turn face. Like I just mentioned a minute ago, Seth Rollins turning face in order to for a few months while Cody Rhodes heals. Because I feel, in my belief, a perfect story plan, and the WWE is unique to change things always. But right now, I see Cody Rhodes out into the Rumble, costs Seth Rollins the title. Who knows? Coming in at number 1, this also could come back around to another Cody Rhodes. And okay, I'm just spitballing here. Let me know what you think. Coming in at number 1, challenging to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Could you see the Money in the Bank? Could you see the Money in the Bank briefcase belonging to Seth Rollins? All right, let me just paint you a picture and let me know what you guys think. Seth Rollins wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, holds on that title as long as possible. Okay, hear me out. Seth Rollins enters in the Royal Rumble match, at which later in the match, Cody Rhodes goes on to win the Royal Rumble by eliminating Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins still has the Money in the Bank briefcase. He goes on and cashes it in, so he becomes champion, and this all becomes one big circle at WrestleMania next year with Cody Rhodes beating Seth freaking Rollins to become a WWE heavyweight world champion. Could that be something possible or something that you would like to see at the end of the day? Would you like to see, let me put it this way, Seth Rollins, like I said, this is how I'm kind of just spitballing here. Let me know. Seth Rollins goes on to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Seth Rollins enters in the Royal Rumble match. And at number 28, Cody Rhodes enters in and eliminates Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes goes on and wins the Royal Rumble match. That goes on to face the WWE World Champion at WrestleMania. Somehow, Seth Rollins cashes in the WWE World Championship, Money in the Bank briefcase, to become World Champion, just like he did years ago. Maybe not at WrestleMania, though. And then Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins finishes off a feud, or at least and starts this other chapter where Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins goes one-on-one for that title. That has, remember, this whole entire conversation has been around Cody Rhodes wanting to win the title that his father never did. Sit on that. Let me know down in the comments. Leave me a message. Let me know what you guys think about that. Our last break here on the throw-in here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel.
You think you know me? Say I'm as cold-hearted as they come. You think I'm slowly cutting my ties with you, that I'm done. Here's what you don't know. Feelings, they grow slow. I've just been
Epic Jimmy Sound provides you In the Name of Love. Oi, Flukes Vortex on a remix. Right here on the TNC Sports Talk YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. About to wrap things up here. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. Alright. It is a Tuesday, and you know what that means. That means NXT 2.0 is right here upon us. And we don't have any basketball today. The basketball Celtics and Warriors game 3 takes on tomorrow. We also have NHL today. The Rangers in a game. Yeah, I have my paperwork somewhere up here. They take on them. So Warriors are in Boston tomorrow. Series tied at 1. You have the Rangers and the Lightnings will take on later on tonight as the Rangers lead 2-1. But Tuesday night means that it's NXT 2.0. You want a little bit of, I guess you call it minor league wrestling from the WWE. This is where you go to get it. NXT 2.0 kicks off tonight. A lot of things that happened, especially after In Your House last Saturday night. A lot of things took place. Got to see Carmelo Hayes win back the North American Championship. My question off the bat is this was a short title run from from Cameron Grimes. What was the logistics of putting the title on Cameron Grimes if at the next title opportunity he was going to drop it? We knew the emotional stake. The only thing I could think of is because we knew the emotional stake that that Cameron Grimes had about winning the NXT North American Championship. I believe that the title does fit better on Carmelo Hayes, but then why do you give Cameron Grimes that short 5 minutes of fame? All right, I kind of when you think of putting titles on people, here's a process, and this is just my process. I don't know if you guys would agree with it or see it a different way. I would love to hear a different point of view. But when you are getting into the wrestling industry as a fan, it takes me about 2 to 3 months to get to know if I'm going to buy in on you or not. Look at Austin Theory. I was not buying in back in January was Austin Theory when Vince McMahon thought he was the protege. But then by the time WrestleMania came, and as soon as he beat and had that moment with Vince McMahon and Pat McAfee and Stone Cold Steve Austin, I bought in to Austin Theory. You think about that 3-month time period, that's about 12 weeks. Well, I'm about to sneeze again. Excuse me. So I want you to think about that for a second. How long does it take, for one, if you know you're going to buy into a title, to a person or not in professional wrestling? How long does it take for a person to develop the next step is, once you can know if you're going to buy in or sell, is to find out if he's championship worthy. And there's a lot more to it. You don't just get to throw the title on you and say, all right, you got to walk around as the champion. You have to earn it. And the way you have to earn it is by going through and representing, being the face of by honestly. Oh, you want to, okay. Rollins wouldn't join Judgment Day unless he was the leader. Hey, I have a question for you. Could he have been the leader from the entire beginning? Let me ask you this question, and I know we're not talking about NXT right now. Could his character is an alpha, and it wouldn't make sense to change it? Okay, I agree with you. Remember the feud that Edge and Seth Rollins had last year that led to the Hell in a Cell match? We knew that feud wasn't done. I told everyone that feud wasn't done. That feud had to end one way only, in the TLC, because that's what Edge does best. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Maybe, just maybe, because you know how manipulative Seth Rollins is. Because Seth Rollins had acquired Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor to join to the Judgment Day and backstab Edge from the beginning. It's a hypothetical statement. It's a conspiracy. Maybe I'm the only one buying into it, at least as of right now. But wouldn't that be legit? You think about this. He needs something to buy down the road. He needs something to keep him busy. So why not? Why not? So, just think about that. Just think about what I just said there. All right, back to this here. One thing I want to make sure I point out, and apparently I'm getting these comments a little later. All right, you got respond to that. Thank you again. But all right, so Cameron Grimes is out of the title picture. Carmelo Hayes won it. Toxic Attraction, another great promotion of product. I mean, for me, I'm just like, when is this going to end? All right, don't get me wrong. I love the Toxic Attraction. They've been dominant. I love the dominance in the WWE. But exactly when is this going to end? At what point will this end? I don't see it lasting forever. But I just don't know at this moment, because there was opportunities for them to drop the titles and to break apart. I just don't see anybody at this moment that is able to defeat them. There's no one in that roster that convinces me enough that would sell me if they went over that way. By the way, I just got notification that we are on iHeartRadio as of right now. Also want to go ahead and bring up what's next for Braun Breaker. All right, he didn't just beat, Gracie. He did dominate. He annihilated him. Come on. Let's be real here. Who's next? I would love to see this summer Solo Sikoa take on Braun Breaker. What about that? You guys think about that? NXT 2.0 tonight. Here's my question to you. I'm going to let you guys think about this. Toxic Attraction has been a really dominant faction in NXT. And I know a lot of people don't follow NXT 2.0. All right, even I have trouble doing it. It's a lot of wrestling, let's be honest. But NXT 2.0. I want to ask you this. Can you honestly say, could you honestly consider Toxic Attraction and their dominance and what they've been through the same journey, the same power level as the Bloodline? Think about it. The only thing that separates the Bloodline and Toxic Attraction, they all got titles. All right, all three women have as much titles as other titles that they need is to go on to the WWE and get those titles. Other than that, they got the tag team titles and they got the women's NXT Women's Championship. What else can they possibly grab? They're sitting at the top of the level. And I know that the level doesn't include 24, 40, 50 men or other opponents. But could you consider Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction being at the same level as the Bloodline in the success and the dominance of their respected division or shows that they've held? I can. Think about that. All right, tomorrow we're going to be talking about some AEW stuff. MJF is being taken off of AEW video pads and whatnot. What's next for MJF? Let me guys know. I will be back tomorrow. I will let you guys know the time frame tomorrow morning, probably earlier in the morning. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Throw-In with Justin. I am Justin. Until tomorrow, you guys have yourself a wonderful Tuesday. Stay dry.